What's going on, boys and girls? It's your boy Lazy Lightsaber back at it again for another video. So finally it came out. I know I've been talking about it for a while. I made part 1 of the Mario 64 and then part 2 on Mario Sunshine, and now we finally made it to part 3, the final one, the big Mario Galaxy. So if you go back to my previous reviews that I made on the other 2 games, I thought that Mario 64 was good. You know, it's a classic, can't go wrong with that game. I did have some problems with the fact that they did not upgrade the graphics. Yes, they did small changes to some characters, but overall the game was pretty much the same. And that's my problem with that game. Even though it's good and, you know, it brings a lot of nostalgia back from when I was a child, I felt like they didn't do enough to kind of take it over the edge for me. I felt like it could have been a lot better had they done certain things. But if you want more about that, you can just go ahead and watch that review and let me know your thoughts. Then we went over to Mario Sunshine, which I thought that the game wasn't, for me at least, it wasn't groundbreaking. I didn't get the big, you know, change. I guess I didn't like it as much. It was kind of new for me, the entire format. And I don't know, it just, the Sunshine, the whole thing with the paint, it just, for me, it wasn't my thing. I think I was a little bit harsh on the review of that game, and if I go back and do it all over again, I might have given it a little better score than I did. I originally gave it, I believe, like 3 or 3.5 lightsabers, so maybe 4, or maybe if it was at 3, 3.5. So the game is a little better. I've played it some more now, and I do like it a little bit more, but still, it's just not my thing. And I was kind of bummed out because that's that's one that I really like, which was the Mario 64, but again, that's the game that I've already played. And then for the 2 new games on the experience, one of them I didn't like, and that was the collection is basically 3 games. So kind of this game would have made or broken it for me. Like if it was worth getting it or not came down to this game. At least that's how I felt. So I felt like if this game was a disappointment, I would have kind of been bummed out over the entire purchase, even though I'm glad that I bought it because it's a collector's type of thing. They only, you know, they're going to stop making them in March of next year. So I'm kind of glad I got my copy, and I can always go back and revisit these games as long as I have a Nintendo Switch. But still, you know, it's $60 that I could have spent on a different game. So I kind of felt like this game was the one that if I liked it, then good. Then that means that the purchase 2 out of the 3 games was worth it. It was worth $20 per game, kind of, because it's $60 for all 3 of them on 1 cartridge. So that would have made it worth it. So finally, we're here, and this is the game. So there are things that I do like about the game, and then there are things that I do critique. So let's go ahead and start off with graphics. You know, that's the first thing that you see when you play a game like this. It looks good. It actually looks great on the Switch. Wow, the game, for it being a Wii U game, it actually looks really good. It runs well on the Switch, so no problems there. It's smooth, and I like it. The visuals are great. There's no voice acting. I think Rosalina was the only one that actually did some voice acting. Maybe it was like maybe words. I don't remember exactly. And let's see. The cutscenes were actually really good. The game just kind of throws you in there, like you know, you start off just right in the mix. Your pal Bowser is basically bombing the entire Mushroom Kingdom, so you're kind of just thrown in there immediately. You hit the ground running. So I did like that about the game. It wasn't like a boring start. Then it kind of rolls you back a little bit, and kind of you get, you know, into the tutorial mode where you're kind of learning how to play the game. So that was pretty interesting. But as far as that feeling that I've described on previous games, you know, like as soon as you start a Mario game, you kind of know if you're gonna like it or not. And I think when I started this game, I knew I would like it. It was different than Sunshine. It was back to a more traditional Mario where you're punching, running, and jumping, but it was different. It was in the future. You were in the galaxy, you know, you were kind of traveling between different places. So I thought that was pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty cool. I did like that aspect of the game. So then we'll go ahead and just move on over to controls. So controls, I guess, is where I've had the most problem, but it's not what you think. So okay, so when you start this game up, the menu and kind of that whole portion of the game, it's straight up gyro controls, and I cannot stand gyro controls. If I don't have to use gyro controls, I will not use it. I will actually turn off gyro controls for a game before I started. I did the same thing on Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now there are levels on that game where you have to spin like this ball and try to get it into a spot, and gyro controllers do work better for that, for that shrine. But overall, I thought that the game, did not need to be played with gyro controls, and I just don't like them. Here, though, unfortunately, at the beginning, you do have to play with gyro controls when you're kind of going through the menu and creating like your profile and all that kind of stuff. You do have to have some gyro controls, and there is a slight function when you collect stars that does involve the gyro control. So from that aspect, I did not like it. I mean, it wasn't a deal breaker for me. The game still ran great, but that's something that I wish they could have kind of taken out, and they would have found a different mechanic for us to use. The other thing that I had a small issue with was the camera angle. Like when you're turning around to like view certain places. Now, it wasn't as bad as Mario 64. Geez, it was not that bad, and it was not as bad as Sunshine. It was actually an improvement on both of those games. The camera was a lot better when you're trying to look around, but still, it was kind of shaky. Not shaky, but kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like clunky, I guess is the best way I could describe it. Clunky would be great, actually. So I felt like it was very heavy, tasky, clunky to use, kind of like the side to side kind of views of the game. So those would be my two biggest, I guess, pet peeves. Or not pet peeves, but kind of, I hate the word pet peeves. I don't know why I said that, but it's just the things that I don't like of the game, and they're not break it, kind of situations. This game is actually solid. I actually like it, so I don't want to sound like I'm dogpiling it. I actually do like this game, but those kind of things do take away from it. And this game came out a long time ago, so I feel like Nintendo could have had time to kind of improve on this and make it a lot better, just make it function better. So I was kind of thrown off. They didn't put a little more effort on this one and kind of, fix those little things with the camera and kind of the whole gyro controller. But thankfully, it wasn't a huge, you didn't have to deal with it too much. So it wasn't too bad. You can still kind of play your game without too much of that going on and still have a good experience. At least that's how I felt anyway. And then I guess the third option would be handheld mode. Handheld mode is my third thing that I kind of wanted to look over this thing to see how well the game played on handheld. Now, on handheld, you do have the option of using the touchscreen, which is pretty interesting. When you're collecting stars, you can actually tap on the screen to throw the stars or to collect the stars or whatever. So that I felt was not good because I had to take my hand off of the Joy-Con on the side and then reach over to the screen to touch where I wanted to, kind of shoot the stars. But if I want to move around while I'm doing that, it kind of takes away from the experience. So I guess in handheld mode would be the worst way to play this game. I play this game in handheld with Joy-Cons and with a Pro Controller, and I felt the best way to enjoy this game without few interruptions, and just the best way to control it would be on dock using a Pro Control. For me, that was the best way I was able to enjoy this game. But yeah, on handheld, it was kind of weird. I just didn't like the way that I kind of had to, touch the screen. It was kind of something that I wanted the Joy-Cons kind of wanted to take over that action. I feel like that would have been a lot better than to touch the screen. And yeah, you can press a certain key to do certain things. But you know, when it comes to handheld, I do have a problem with just playing in handheld, just because it's a smaller experience, and just for me, it's not really that good. But just to kind of give you a rundown conclusion of the entire thing of what I thought it was a really good take on a Mario Galaxy, kind of different. You know, you're kind of going around like these small planets, like these tiny little, you know, comets, or I guess like small floating worlds, and you're kind of jumping from one place to another until you find Bowser and rescue Peach, and Rosalina's in here, and she's like the queen of these little sprite things, these little stars. So definitely a lot here. Story wise, it's pretty simple. You know, kick Bowser's ass, rescue the princess, and you're kind of good to go. So I really enjoyed this. I'm definitely excited to kind of play more of it. So to give my final rating and just close this chapter of my life out with this Mario Collections game, I will go ahead and give this game 4 lightsabers. That's right, you heard it, 4 lightsabers. That's the rate that I'm going to give this, which makes it a good game. It's not a perfect game. 5 would be perfect. I go up to 5, but 4 would be a good solid game, definitely playable. Now let me reel that back a little bit though, because that's going to have a little grain of salt. It's only good if you get it in the collection, meaning you still have the other 2 games that you can play, which is Sunshine and Mario 64. If they later release this game by itself and sell it for anything less than $20, I would not recommend this game by itself. I don't think it holds its own weight in gold. Yes, I gave it a 4 lightsaber, but that also depends heavily on the fact that this does come bundled up, and you can ignore the fact that it comes bundled up with 2 other games. You just can't. You have to include that. I've included that fact in all 3 portions of my reviews for each individual game. And at the end of the day, I say the same thing. Each game scores a little bit higher only because it's coming in this collection. Well, anyways, guys, let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you think that I'm right, if I'm wrong, and if you have a different opinion, let me know in the comments below. Get in there and we'll go ahead and hash it out. Don't forget to follow your boy at Lazy Lightsaber on Twitter, at Lazy Lightsaber. I know a lot of you have been waiting for that giveaway. It's coming. It's coming. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. Stay tuned. Keep it checked. Keep that notification bell icon lit so you know when that video goes up. I am working on hopefully doing some more Zelda content. I did notice a lot of my Zelda videos are catching traction. A lot of you are watching. If you're a first-time viewer, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos and any of the new Zelda content that I'm going to be bringing out. That's pretty much all I got to say about this game. But like I said, I would recommend it if you're buying the collection. Anyways, guys, you guys take care. Peace out.